This might be the most important skill you'll ever learn. It is the key to self-confidence, and it is the key to resilience. And that is how to process emotions, really painfully difficult ones. Now, why is this the most important skill you can have? It's because we are wired to survive and not thrive. Our emotions are caused by how our brain is interpreting the world around us. And we don't always have control over that. And our brain doesn't necessarily know the difference between physical pain and emotional pain. So the fear that you feel when you're going to experience physical pain is really similar to the drastic feeling you have when you are about to experience emotional pain. Your brain will do whatever it needs to keep you safe and not put yourself out there. It wants to keep you in a box and feeling safe and not going out and doing new things, and therefore, of course, working against most of your long-term goals. Your brain doesn't want to feel rejection or humiliation because those are emotionally really painful. They feel really bad in your body. So if you are able to feel these emotions, think about what that could do for you. Think about all of the things you might not be afraid to try if you knew at the end of the day you could handle any emotion. Because really, what is the worst case scenario? It's an emotion. If you're not doing anything that's going to physically harm you, the worst case scenario, the biggest risk you're taking is an emotional one. And if you get really good at feeling and processing these emotions, then you get to literally do and go after whatever you want because you know you can sit with yourself through the really, really hard times. So just as a real life example, I'm Chelsea. I am a musician and I am a mindset coach for musicians, and I'm a flutist. I have taken dozens and dozens of orchestral auditions and experienced so much rejection. And the feeling we always feel after a rejection is, well, we do feel rejected, but we feel disappointment. And I think a lot of people are unwilling to put themselves out there because they're afraid not of not being picked, but the feeling that's going to accompany them being rejected. And this could be for anything. But after a rejection, I have a plan. I sit with myself and do this 5-step process. So the first thing I do, let's say I didn't advance in an audition. I go back, I'm with myself, I'm going back to my hotel room in some strange city, no doubt, that I have to be in for another 2 days, right? And I am feeling disappointment. The first thing I do is I sit with myself, I put down my phone, I put down everything, except maybe a journal if you want to journal this out instead of saying it to yourself in your head or out loud. But I name the emotion. That is step number 1, naming the emotion. This is disappointment. Disappointment in my body feels heavy, right? That's number 2, is describing the emotion. So name it. This is disappointment. This is what a human feeling disappointment feels like. This is the human emotion of disappointment, and it lives in my body. And then we describe it. We say, oh, okay, it feels really heavy in my chest, feels like a knot in my stomach, and some water's coming out of my eyes, maybe, right? But whatever it is for you, whatever sensations or vibrations you are feeling in your body, because that's all emotions are physical vibrations in the body, describe them. Then you're going to choose to let it be there. Choose to feel the emotion. And I'm telling you, this is how you get your power back over your emotions. Choose to let it be there. It's already here. Why are we fighting it? It's arguing with reality. You're fighting yourself. Let it be there. Describe it. What color is it? Is it warm? Is it cold? Is it changing within your body? Is it moving within your body? So name it, describe it, choose it. Those are the 3 main pillars. Now, what we want to do is self-soothe. So we don't want to say, oh, I'm disappointed. Well, I should have practiced more and I should have done this. And if I had really prepared and if I was really good enough, they would have picked me. And we don't want to do any of that. We don't want to shame ourselves. We don't want to put shame on top of the disappointment. So if you're going back and you're shaming yourself, drop back into your body, take a big deep breath, and really focus on the physical vibrations in the body instead of the mental spiral. Take really deep breaths, self-soothe through this process, meaning you're going to maybe rub your shoulders. Maybe you're going to dress in comfy clothing. Maybe you're going to make sure you have plenty of water. Like, how would you take care of someone else going through this? Have those things planned out ahead of time. Maybe you bring like a stuffed animal along to your audition, or like a soft blanket, or something that's going to make you feel good, right? After, whatever happens. And that's not to say that you are predicting failure if you do all of these things. It could be a celebratory, like, oh, I get to hug this blanket because I won the audition and I'm so happy I'm crying. Could be that, right? So just remember that we need to plan ahead for some of these things sometimes, especially in an audition situation, but it could be anything. You could be emailing someone to pitch yourself for something. You could be posting on social media and it could only get like 10 views, and then you feel bad and disappointed, and then you go through this process then, right? But what we want to make sure we're not doing is entertaining the shame that comes on top of it. We don't want to make this disappointment mean anything about us, because it doesn't. Any emotion you have, this could be anxiety, this could be embarrassment. And I like that social media example, because we could feel embarrassed if we get no comments, no likes on a video. And then we have to, what are we going to do? If we want to resist or push away the emotion, we'll take it down. Or we'll try to acknowledge it in our next post. Or we'll try to, it's like, no, just let the embarrassment be there, because you can't help it if it's already there. Acknowledge it. It's okay. It's very human of you. And then name it, describe it, choose it, self-soothe, and repeat that process for as long as it takes for you to sit with yourself, and it will start to dissipate. And this is a skill. When you get good at this, when you know and you have proved to your brain that you will not die if you get rejected or feel disappointed or feel embarrassed, then you can do so many more things. And honestly, I think the key to self-confidence is the willingness to feel any emotion. If you are willing to feel embarrassed, you can do anything for the first time and feel confident in yourself, because you know you can get yourself through to the other side. What a gift to give yourself, honestly. This is one of the most important things that I've personally learned throughout my career in coaching and in music and in putting myself out there. This video could get like 10 views. I'm still going to leave it up because I believe in it, and I can feel embarrassed, and I know that I'll come out on the other side and it won't mean anything about me. And I won't make it mean anything about me, because that's my choice. So we don't want to make our emotions mean anything about ourselves or anything that we should do. We should just let it sit there, talk ourselves through it, and let it pass through us physically, because emotions are meant to be felt, right? Emotions are not problems to be solved, they're feelings to be felt. If you get really good at feeling emotions and you're not making them mean anything about you, and you're able to manage your opinion of yourself and really think about yourself on purpose and have a really amazing self-concept, which is a video I will link above. If you're able to do all of those things, then you are able to conquer whatever you want. You can put yourself out there in any way, because you've built that trusting relationship with yourself. And there is not that as much fear, because there's not as much emotional risk, because you know how to handle your emotions. When you set goals that are really big, expect negative emotions to come up. Then process them, move through them, and then act on behalf of your future self and the version of you that's going to have achieved that goal. So when there's something you want to go after, ask yourself, am I willing to feel all of the human emotions in order to get it? Am I willing to feel disappointment, embarrassment, failure, humiliation in order to get it? And if you don't know how to deal with those emotions, you don't know how to process them like we talked about, that is a really hard sell for your brain. So hopefully you got a lot out of this video. Name it, describe it, choose it, self-soothe, repeat. Do this as much as you need to prove to your brain, we're not going to die from this. We can feel embarrassment, and it's just a weird, terrible feeling in your body. It's nothing more than that, because I've decided that this is what I want. So you can use this for any goal. I, of course, used a musical example because I'm a musician myself, but I think that it's so useful for anybody watching. I think this should be included in kindergarten curriculum, to be honest with you. So go forth and feel all those feelings. Help yourself through them. Treat yourself with love and kindness. And I'll see you next time.